Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Beyond Supernatural. I'm your host, Michele Villery for Indy Radio and the Indy Geek. And here with me this evening are Jennifer, who's now one of our new co-hosts. Hi, Jen!
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me again.
Hi, Congrats on the new co-host gig, check.
Thank you.
And we have the lovely Toni Colangelo.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone.
And I'm sure Tory Rush will be joining us anytime now. But tonight we know that this episode meant a lot to a lot of people. I heard the feedback as well as all of us, who are hosting. We talked to a lot to all of you fans. We hear you. We love Felicia Day as much as anybody else. We are definitely going to break down Dark Dynasty for sure. I will say this and then I'll let the other girls speak as well. We don't know storyline-wise or in the future what the producers have in store. I know we all say that, and I've heard fans say it too, they have a history with women dying. I'm with, I feel you guys on that. I agree with you to an extent with that. Charlie meant a lot to everyone. She was a female, kick-ass female. Her character was just evolving really, really well into this fearsome hunter. She came into her own. But the main catalyst of the story everyone has to remember is it's about the brothers. So sometimes things, happen and it's to propel the storyline. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. It's not for me to say. I will say I was upset with her dying too. I have mixed feelings about this episode. But I did overall like it. I'm excited to know where they're going to go. I'm also scared, too. I'm not going to lie. But, okay, I've said enough. Okay, Jen, we'll start with you. What did you think?
Well, it was definitely depressing at the end.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. I love Charlie, so I was as upset as everybody else was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I was trying very hard not to spoil it online, so, But overall, I agree with you. I absolutely loved the episode. The Frankenstein thing was cool. So.
Wasn't it cool? A lot of people didn't like that, and we're going to get into that as we break down the episode. But you know what? It fits the supernatural lore. I really enjoyed the fact that they brought in the Frankenstein family. I thought it was awesome.
Me too, and I think wasn't Frankenstein in Buffy one time too?
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yep.
So
Totally.
yeah, so I remember. I think she believed that she fell in love with him or something. I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, I love Buffy though. Anyway, but yeah, no. Overall, I love this. I love the Mark of Cain story. I loved the part with Charlie and Rowena going back and forth, and Cass being like, "Oh my God, I can't handle this." Like he's with two women who are bickering, and so that was hilarious. So it was funny up until the end, and
Yeah, I agree. I really liked Cass and Rowena. I loved Charlie and Rowena. Toni, what did you think overall?
Okay. I was also upset about Charlie. I think the sadness finally left today. That's how long it took.
Yeah, me too.
yes.
We were all grasping at straws until I heard somebody say for the tweets. I was following the asylum tweets, and they're like, "No, she's dead." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
My heart dropped. I know, and everyone, yes, we were all upset, and we are getting feedback from, I guess, Asylum. Is that what's going on right now?
I was looking at tweets from Asylum. No, but we were getting tweets from fans yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
We're with you, guys. We're with you on the situation, and I'm just going to say I will, hold to Jim Michael's words that, she's, these guys aren't dead. So we'll see. I don't know. Should I save, what my prediction would be?
Sure.
Or save it, or should I say it now? Or save it for the end?
You say it whenever you want to.
I got a feeling on a couple things. One that, Michele, you and I talked about last night. She could be like an ascended master. When she passes on, she could be like a higher angel.
Mm-hmm.
She could be someone that's more powerful than Metatron. She could be part prophet and part angel warrior.
Yeah, I can see that happening, to be honest.
She might intervene with whatever may happen with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another thing, in her past, we all know that she is very protective of her identity. I would not be surprised if maybe I'm just assuming these are just wishful thinking. I'm wishful thinking that maybe after Rowena got on Charlie's nerves for so long, that was hilarious. But I think that maybe they may have come up with something, because you know how Rowena brought up how she can see Charlie. She can see through anybody. She's a powerful witch, a powerful, I guess, whatever, empath, clairvoyant, whatever. I think, and when Rowena was introduced to both Charlie and Cass, she had a liking for both of them. And the part about, I should bring this up later, but the thing with her and Cass, that was epic.
That cracked me up.
It did. But anyway, I think maybe Rowena and Charlie may have come up with a plan, and somehow maybe have Charlie, because Rowena has that shapeshifter power or morphine power. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that's where the writer took it, where Rowena just had somebody else morph into Charlie at the end.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah. But yes, we saw the upcoming episodes where there's a Hunter's funeral.
That doesn't mean anything, though.
It could have been somebody else. This is why I'm saying getting back to Charlie's identity.
Yep, Charlie learned a lot from the boys, but the boys, I think, also learned a lot from her.
Yes, they did. They learned from each other. That's one of the magical parts about that. I don't care what anybody says. It was like they were brothers and sisters from another mother.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's why her words, and we're going to talk about Charlie's conversation with Rowena, and one of the things that struck me about that was where Charlie was saying, the boys are like my family. They are my family. I love Dean. Sam and Dean. They are my family. Because Rowena had a problem with that. And Rowena said, that will be your undoing. She predicted it. She literally, so that brings up a good point. Rowena obviously knew something was going to happen with her. And here's the thing. This is another question, and we're going to literally break down this episode. But Cass.
Cass says hi. Sorry. Sorry, that's my dog.
Yes, I know it is. That's why I was like, where is she? Where is she?
She's
but Cassiel, where is he at full power? Because he can sense things. There was a couple of plot points that I was like, what the F? Because one, he didn't know that that he couldn't sense where Charlie was. Second, and find her. Second, why didn't he just, there was a lot of things. Like, why didn't he just, well, I know that his wings obviously have tears in them, because I did rewatch it a little bit before. I watched it a couple hours ago, rewatched it. And there was just I'm like, why didn't he fly? But then I just remembered his wings are like all torn and tattered. But he could have healed her. Hey, Tory Rush.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's all.
Hi, Tori.
Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry.
That's
Lost
all
track
right.
of time there.
That's all right. We're just breaking down. What did you think of the episode? We're just talking about overall thoughts before we get smack dab in the middle of it.
It was really sad.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
didn't have to go.
For the outsider, she didn't have to go. That's coming from the outsider, y'all.
I was like, why did they take her off? I was very sad about that.
And I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead, Jen.
I was just thinking today, the last time I saw Felicia Day was in Dr. Horrible, where she died a horrible death also.
This was brutal. I probably, after rewatching it today, will not look at this episode for a very, very long time. It took me I literally will just watch, I'll rewatch an episode before we go on 3 or 4 times, and if there's lore, I'll watch 2 or 3 episodes or a season to catch up, to figure out what's happening, to try to put 2 and 2 together. I don't know if anybody else does that. I do that with my stuff. I'm just anal retentive that way. But that's what I usually do. Today, earlier this afternoon, I just went back and I just watched it, made notes, and I was just like, I need to put it down. I don't need to look at that again, because that was the most grisly death for a supernatural character.
Yes, I agree with that. It was pretty grisly.
Right. And Supernatural has had some grisly deaths, but for their main characters, Mary's death was bad. Jess's death was bad. Joe and Ellen's was awful. But this was like brutal. And it was just sad. It was just sad. I'm like, in a bathtub? Really? It's just awful. I'm like, where was Cass?
He's probably going to be blaming himself the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be sad.
But you know what? And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it right now. Dark Dynasty, it was written by Eugenie Ross Lemon and Brad Butner, and it was directed by the Robert Singer. And pretty much, first scene is the doctor, as we call him. He interviews a researcher for her upcoming research paper. This was another grisly effing death. This was nasty. But this is welcome to Supernatural, bitches. This is what happens. But she's looking forward to getting her research paper done. And so she agrees to whatever he was going to do. And he gouges her eyes out. Well, slits her throat and gouges her eyes out, which was with a melon baller to boot. I'll never look at a melon baller in the same way again. That was nasty. Yeah. And also to tip anybody out, he jumps 3 stories out of a building, and he lands feet first.
The eyeballs, I was like, why are they taking us so long? Is he like an eyeball demon or something?
I didn't get that either at first. I didn't get that either until we figure out what origin the Stein family is from. And then I'm going to say literally right now, kudos to David Hoffman, who was Eldon, as we now know, the doctor, who was pretending to be a doctor. He was Eldon Stein, which is Jacob Stein's cousin, or no, his brother. He was Jacob's brother. So David Hoffman was amazing in this whole thing. And so literally, the Stein family, there's Cass making a little cameo. We go into the Stein family and talk about this
Can I
family.
thing about
Hmm?
Can I say something
Yes,
in
ma'am.
regards to family, please? Regarding the eyeballs and all the methods that they were using, I'm sorry, but it brought me back. You know me, going back in the past, but I'm telling you, it goes. It's history either repeating itself. Season 3, when Sam was trying to find a way to save Dean from going to hell,
Mm-hmm.
and they run into this case with Doc Benton, the guy.
Somebody else mentioned that. I didn't go back that far. I went back as far. I just went back to season 4 this week.
Yeah, it's like they're bringing that all over again, but he wasn't. I don't think he was in the witchcraft or anything like the Stein family were. So it is a little bit different, but still similar. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
I thought the eyeball thing was gross.
That was the nastiest thing. I mean, and I can take supernatural gore, but that was the nasty. I'm like, this is one of the nastiest things ever.
Yeah, like it made me not ever want to go back to the eye doctor ever again.
I know. I was like, ew. Melon baller. And then we go to the brother. Well, pretty much we we see the Stein family. But before that, I do believe we see the brothers. And Sam, I'm just gonna shake my head. Sam is coming back from somewhere scheming. And we see Dean, who obviously knows now something is up. And I love what Dean said to him. He's like, "What is it?" He goes, "You look like crap on toast." I love Jensen Ackles so much. He's like, "You look like crap on toast. Is there a woman?" He's like, "No, there's no woman." And he's like saying a bunch of BS and everything. And but when you looked at what Dean was looking at his laptop was he was doing a lot of research on the Stein family. And we went back to for previous episodes about how they were with Hitler, just different the 1800s. No, the Hitler. They traced back to Hitler, genocide, and a few other things. But there's right after I think that point, they went dead. The family with the trail went dead. And they hadn't heard from him up until recently. But Dean said that there was some mysterious stuff going on with a research assistant that seemed to be a case where the guy saw, or the security guard, and they caught security footage, and witnesses saw the fact that the guy jumped 3 feet and landed. Automatically, Dean's like, we need to go. Well, we can go first thing in the morning. So that meant Sam goes off, steals a car, and we see him meet Charlie. But that was before we see the Stein family, and they talk to Eldon and tell him that he was not supposed to have been seen doing what he was doing. And apparently, if the security guard hadn't walked in, he would have had his way with that chick. So, to boot. So, he was seen, he should have been seen, and they called it the harvest. That just made me, I got chills on like the harvest. Like, here we go. I'm trying to remember, I'm like, wasn't there a supernatural episode with this too? I was like, uh-oh. I'm like, what critter are we dealing with here with these Steins? But, anyway, they were, Eldon, they told him that Eldon was wrong. They needed to kind of make things right and justify Jacob's death. And Toni, I'm going to let you talk in a minute because you and I were talking, and you brought up an excellent point about Jacob and a way that they can bring back Jacob. But basically, they were saying that Jacob, they wanted to make sure that Jacob didn't die in vain, and that they had to make things right. So he sent Eldon off to make sure that they got the Book of the Damned right back in the family. and also to kill Charlie. They need to find Charlie. And I'm going to leave it at you, Toni, because you brought up an excellent point about Jacob Stein.
I think that they're trying to resurrect him. I think they desperately need the book more so now to do that. Mm-hmm. And another reason for the harvesting.
Yeah. That's an excellent point. It's a point that I never even considered before. So we see the brothers they're getting ready to go on their trip, but before they go, Sam meets Charlie, and he and Charlie have a conversation, and basically he tells her that he did not learn the Book of the Damned, that he's lying to Dean, and that he needs her help decoding the book because Rowena, this was excellent. This interaction between Sam and Rowena, which was the second scene I think in the episode, was amazing. Samuel, she literally scolded him like a child. She's like, Rowena's like, Samuel, he's like, you need to decode this, and so Rowena explained to him that she couldn't because it's a code within a code. The witch who had it before coded it, and then put another code, so it was a code beyond a code, and she needed help break the code. And she's like, well, I need my magic. And Sam was like, no, you are not being at full power, period. He didn't trust her. I'm like...
Can I interact for a second?
Yes, ma'am.
I did not understand why that one witch turned the other witch into a rat.
Okay. That other witch is part of the Grand Coven.
Okay.
And I guess I'm trying to remember because I didn't look back at that episode.
Didn't her and Rowena become rivalries or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and she has a lot of dirt on Rowena. I can't wait because what Crowley was writing down, he was eager for that minion to go and speak.
What was that one movie when the witch turned that one thing into a little rat? It was it had Angelina, not Jolie, the woman from the Addams Family. Do you guys remember that movie?
Yes. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Angelica Houston?
Yes, Angelica Houston. That's what it kind of reminded me of.
When I saw her on the the little wheel, I'm like, that's what they did to her. Oh my.
I was like, is he gonna hang out in a hotel and just scurry around the whole hotel again? That's what it reminded me of when I was up.
But we go to now. This is up to Charlie and Sam. Well, yeah, we pretty much got that. Yeah, we pretty much got that done. So Sam was telling Charlie that he needed her help because he had Rowena that could not break the code, and he needed her help deciphering the code. And once Charlie found out that he's going behind Dean's back on everything, she was livid. And that was the first time we've ever seen Charlie mad at one of them. She was mad this entire episode. She was livid with him, and she was very reluctant to help him with it. But basically, Sam said it was for the brothers and da, and it was for Dean, and that he loved Dean, and that was basically it.
Well, I loved how when that was going on, she looked when she and Cass looked at each other, Cass said, "That never goes well, Sam," and she goes, "That's what I said."
When they went into the bunker, yeah. I don't know if it was I think it was a part of the bunker, but that was great when Cass walked in, and he's like, you know it never goes well. She's like, I told him. I was like, I love you too. And I'm like, Cass got even mad. Now, that was another thing. I kept thinking, what is the other thing? Cass, for him to not sense that Sam was lying to him. What is up with that?
Now it's a lying triangle, you know? And
yeah.
Now with this whole thing with what happened to Charlie, I mean, Dean is obviously pissed with Sam. Mm-hmm. Dean is going to be pissed with Cass for not being honest with him, you know, because, well, of course, because it was Charlie's life on the line, you know.
Right, and he's going to be even mad at Cass. He's going to be mad at Cass because Cass was supposed to be watching her and told her not to leave for Sam. But then again, Charlie left on her own.
She left on her own, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, it's hard to talk about. I just,
I know, and I get why she did it. Because Rowena was getting on her last nerve.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's frustrating that she left because of that.
I know. And I'm like, just go. Even though we're watching it, I'm like, Cass, just put her somewhere else and stay with her. Do not leave her. And like even Sam said, stay. Then he's like, no, Cass said, can I just go with her too? He goes, no, who's gonna watch Rowena? And somebody said this too, and I didn't see this, and I watched it today. Did Rowena take the key? Did she pickpocket Cass and take the key?
It kind of looked like that.
I think so.
I didn't notice that, but I was watching off of my computer because I don't have cable right now. So I rewatched it again, but I didn't notice that though.
Yeah, I noticed something happened. I didn't initially catch it when I first watched it Wednesday, but today I'm like, I think somebody tweeted it, and I said, oh. Then I went back and looked at it and said, I think she took that key from him. That little witch. Little bitch. Hey, Rowena. But then the guys are in their FBI. We're gonna fast forward to the guys are in their FBI garb, and they're with a security guard who has the security footage and shows them that in a nutshell, and they all talk about what happened, and the guys through the security footage recognize the person who jumped feet first with nothing happening to him as a Stein family member because of the tattoo that the guy had on. So basically, Sam gets the first of many phone calls from Cass.
I love that.
Oh, I know. This is great.
I loved it how Dean caught the phone just that time after that, and
oh my gosh. Yeah, that Cass. We learned this week. Cass can't lie, and that Cass, as in a human form, loved pork rinds.
That's funny too.
The girls were like, Charlie was like,
okay.
He's like, I really liked as a human these pork rinds. I'm like thinking, Cass, who did you get these for? Really?
I love how when he was doing the phone call, like, and Dean picked up, he's like, I'm just calling, like.
Yeah, he goes, and my ride is here. I'm like, what?
That was hilarious, and like it was just so weird how that episode was like so hilarious in the beginning, and then the end was just. I'm not gonna get into the end because we're not there yet, but you know.
Right. But that whole thing was hysterical, and first of many things, Sam getting these phone calls from Castiel, playing referee with Charlie and Rowena fighting. This is epic, and then we finally got Charlie taking pictures. Now, she had an old iPhone, but she was taking pictures of the book and putting them in her tablet. And I'm thinking, did we not talk about this before? Why didn't Sam do that and just leave the book where it was? She did that this time and scanned in everything and began to decode everything. So to be honest, since she did that, does Rowena have the book? Who has the actual book now? Or does Sam, I don't know. Who has the book now since she did that?
The last time it was seen, didn't he hid it somewhere?
He hid it somewhere, yeah.
He had it in a box.
But Charlie had it, and she was taking pictures of the pages, and then she scanned it, and I don't know what happened after that. We don't know where the book is.
Oh, I thought maybe it was still with Rowena because she was working on that, remember?
Okay. Maybe that's what that's where it probably is. I was just wondering. I'm like, where's the book now? So she was doing that, but she was scanning in everything, and she began to decode it, and that's when all that stuff happened. And Cass is like, "Help us out, Sam. Can you do this? Can you do that?" He's like, "No." And that's all, no. And I love those whole scenes in the bunker with those three. Those three could have been like a comedy team.
They really could have. I agree.
And pretty much, what did Dean do after that? We see Crowley. This was a great scene too. I'm like, Crowley playing darts. Literally playing darts.
I was laughing. I mean, I know that's not cool, but I was laughing when I saw it.
I was too.
I'm like, because we all know, and Tori will learn, Crowley, he's not the nicest human being. Well, yeah, the last two seasons, because of the human blood, he's a lot better than what he previously was.
Like, his name reminds me of, like, a devil worshiper. Like, the guy that came up with Occult, his name was Alabaster Crowley.
Crowley, yeah.
Right.
So, like,
right.
every time I hear that name, I think of, like, 666, the March of the Beast,
Well, that's probably where they got it from. Because that's a good question for somebody to ask at a con. Who knows? That's probably where they got it from.
I would hope so, because that's a good source.
I would ask it if Mark makes people nervous when you go up and ask them, and it's really funny. And he would make me more nervous on purpose.
But Charlie's name was derived from Charlie McGee from Stephen King's Christine, according to Robbie Thompson, and Ray Bradbury.
Okay.
So that's a fun fact for people if they didn't know that. But he's literally playing darts, and this man was a dartboard. I laughed my ass off. I thought that was so funny, and it was so cool because I don't know if we talked about it. I think we talked about it in last week's episode. Mark has not, even though he's a series regular, we have not seen a whole lot of Mark Shepard this season. So it's good when he's there. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see something, in the next 2 episodes. But I'm like, what are they doing? They got him on contract now, but they're not really using him.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seemed like. Well, I think he was in pretty much a good portion of. The beginning of the season of the episodes and stuff. But it seemed like towards, once his mom came into the picture, it was like he was more in hiding down in hell.
Yeah.
I think he was doing that because maybe he's trying to wean off of the blood to get out of that humanity.
Probably.
and stuff. And, you know, well, he's looking out for his mom. I mean, I wouldn't trust her for anything either.
Oh, exactly. He knows that his mother's after him.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he threw her out. But then, but what he finds out from his minions is that Mama's missing. So, say what you will, he loves his mother. Well, I don't know if it's a love, but he was concerned. I wouldn't call it love. I would say he was cautiously concerned that he's like, I'll find my mom.
Unfortunately, she's a connection to him because, well, first off, the other reason he's hiding is because he's trying to rebuild his hell staff, you know. Then now that his mom's out of the picture and he's in a way concerned, again, she has that connection with him. They could use her to get to him, whoever it is that has her.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Sam needing her help, but then we find out later that someone will go after Crowley. He doesn't
yeah.
He's got the idea.
I am so curious about that.
Gosh. So, pretty much, after the guys leave that FBI scene, Eldenstein follows the security guy. He kills the security guy, basically. And then Rowena, we've talked about this before, Rowena feels some sort of a connection to, she feels some sort of connection with Charlie. And that's when we get into that conversation with them, which was a really good conversation. And that's when Toni brought a lot of good points up about Rowena. It's almost like a really grisly kindred spirit kind of thing. You know, she sensed that she was, you know, Charlie was an only child. She figured all that out. And basically she, pretty much in a nutshell, said Charlie with Winchesters called it blind devotion. You know, she made them into her family. And Charlie said, they're like my brother. I love them. They're like my brothers. And she said, that's going to be your undoing. And she laughed at it for the most part. I mean, what did you guys think about that?
I agree with you. Like, it seemed like, yeah, I just, I agree with you.
Yeah.
what you just said is exactly what I would have said.
Okay. Toni, what about you?
Well, about the conversation between Rowena and Charlie?
Yeah.
I'm surprised how it came about. I just think there was a strange connection there.
Yeah.
But Rowena was the one that, well, of course, she's got that power. She manifested it first, you know, getting to know them, and she was I just felt like Rowena was very intrigued by Charlie and also by Cass. We'll get to Cass later. Very intrigued with Charlie, and I think she wanted to warn her what she saw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the impression too that she was warning her, you know, for the most part.
And you noticed how they were mocking each other's abilities, like, you know, Charlie's the computer guru. You know, Rowena made fun of her about that, but then Charlie got, you know, went back and teased Rowena, you know, being this old hag witch or whatever, you know.
That was good. I'm like the Battle of the Redheads. All they needed was Elena Huffman in there as Abaddon.
Oh God, that would have been fun. That would have been really fun.
That would have been fun. I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. Like, give me some Advil right now. That was great stuff.
Actually, what would have been great is if you had Rowena, Charlie, Abaddon, and Crowley and Cass there all together.
Oh my gosh!
Crowley would be like, just give me some heads to cut here, you know.
I'm gonna have one more add Kane to that.
Yeah.
And Metatron. Holy crap!
Metatron's just annoying, but
I think Cass is gonna kill Metatron.
I mean, I love Metatron, but he's
I do too.
It's funny, like he's annoyingly funny. You know what
He's
I mean?
annoyingly funny. Oh, Curtis Booger is epic. I mean, Curtis is amazing.
I want to
love
be so bad.
But he is annoyingly funny on the show. I agree with Jen. Yeah.
Oh, I do too. I'm like, I laugh so hard, and I'm like, okay, shut up.
Yeah.
I was
like, okay, moron, shut up. You know, leave my Cass alone. Come on.
I was literally like when Cass and Metatron were on their road trip, and when Cass calls Sam and says, "Can I kill him?" I'm like, "Amen, Cass, amen." Please do it, please. All of a sudden, Cass, boom, punch.
That's my favorite part. Oh my God! And you know what? If Cass ends up killing Metatron in next week's episode or whenever or the last, I would be like,
I know. Me too. I'm gonna be like,
this poop head. And he was jealous of Cass. I mean, look how he was trying on trench coats. Come on, dude, you were just jealous of him.
Exactly. He was just jealous of his blue eyes.
Everything.
He was jealous of his blue eyes. Everything. The whole thing. The blue eyes, the brown shirt. And what is Cass lately? He's like, his hair is like, it's no more like combed to this. It's like all like, I'm like,
shelved.
It's like, yeah.
What were you doing last night?
I know. It's like,
Villery.
oh, we're gonna say we can say the pizza man.
Are we getting Meg back?
Pizza man. I remember the pizza man. That was one of the best lines ever.
I wonder if anyone's ever done a photo op like holding a pizza box with Misha or something.
I don't know if anybody's ever done that.
I'm too shy to do that, but that would be a great idea.
Great idea. If they did, I know every so often they get Rachel Miner when she's up for it for a con. If her and Misha ever do a photo op, somebody needs to do one with a pizza box.
Yes.
They do.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we've been rambling on enough. But where were we now with the episode? Well, Cass calls Dean again. And we get Dean on the phone, and he can't. He says, "I gotta go." Blah blah blah. That was great. He hangs up, and Dean questions Sam again. He's like, "Do you see anything wrong with Cass?" Sam's like, "No, there's nothing wrong with Cass." Before that, did we get to the guys are back, or the guys were leaving? The guys were leaving, and this is what I noticed. I want to get anybody's thoughts on this. The guys were leaving the scene, and they were talking about the Stein family. They were in the car. Sam eating a friggin' burger.
Yes.
I noticed that.
I'm like, huh? And we weren't the only ones that picked up on that. There were a lot of fans that were like, this is not good. He's eating a burger, and I'm like thinking, demon blood. I'm like thinking, this is not, something's up with Sam eating a burger and he's also eating junk food. He was like to Dean, go order, it's treat on me, get a pizza. I'm like, another freaking pizza.
Gluttony, right? Wouldn't that be one of the 7 deadly sins and something that a demon would do?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh,
she said the 7 deadly sins, gluttony.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is right.
As something with him eating, I'm like, Sam eating a burger, and for, like, Tori, she's kind of new to the supernatural world. Sam he'll have like junk food every so often, but he's like the health food nut.
Yeah.
Salad, energy bars. Dean will have a burger like once, twice, 3 times a day for breakfast, even if he can, you know. But
don't forget pie.
Sam runs.
What?
Don't forget the pie.
Yeah, and the pie. He will eat pie. And he will, you know, he's the junk food junkie in the pie, especially. That Sam frequently forgets nearly every time they eat something. Or somebody takes it, like Kevin took that. That was an epic scene 2 years ago where Kevin took the pie. He's like, that was my pie! He took and slammed the door.
Hilarious.
That was hilarious.
I feel like a glutton right now. I'm like snacking on crackers because I didn't eat dinner.
But he's the health food nut, and Dean's the junk food. So that to me raised a lot of questions, and I'm like, I bet money this is doing something. Something's going on with Sam. This isn't good with Sam. I don't know if anybody else caught, you know, I mean, I think Toni was wondering about that too. I don't know if Jen, did you have anything to say about that?
Well, now that you said that, I'm starting to wonder that too, because maybe it is a little bit. Like, because I don't want to say what I read about the finale, because that's a spoiler, but I'm just wondering, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't say because it's a spoiler, so.
Right, I saw something too, a new thing yesterday, and I was just like, it wasn't what I think we had previously mentioned between just privately, but it was something totally different, and I went, oh.
You got to show me when we get off.
Yeah. In the season finale, everyone, it is what was kind of foreshadowing. It's Brother's Keeper. If that tells you anything, and if you know the Bible, if you know the history of Cain and Abel, and Jeremy Carver talks a great deal about biblical sense, the thread of this entire season, it'll kind of tell you, it'll foreshadow it a little bit.
All I know is the finale's the day before my birthday, and I'm not happy.
I know.
My birthday is
I know.
I am not.
When's your birthday, Tori?
What?
Monday.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah.
Your birthday's Monday?
Yeah.
Cool. Yay, May birthday.
Is it really, Tori?
Yeah, yay for tourism.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yay!
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I feel like a youngin' too. You guys say you're all older than me. I'm gonna be 33.
I'm going to be 38, but we don't need to talk about it.
My birthday is in December, and I'm not saying anything. Just know that I'm at that age.
That's all right. My
Lori,
sister
what are you
did that,
talking
and
about?
she's in a midlife crisis.
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm in my 40s, okay? So it is what it is.
I'm just worried about the finale with everything going on with the Mark of Cain right now.
I am too, and literally, as Dean goes and gets this pizza, we see a tad. I do believe we saw a tad of the Mark of Cain when the Stein family, he runs into the Stein family and Eldon Stein, and I think Eldon's cousin, and he did not. Except for he held on to that pizza for the longest. I'm like, boyfriend, with that gun, had the pizza in his hand and just went boom. And I'm like, I said literally in notes, we'll talk with Tory Rush about this epic fight scene because Tory knows martial arts, Tory knows fighting.
It was epic. It was a great fight scene. Like I would say, top tier. Arrow style. Like, it was, like, I was like, what? I didn't know they got this violent on here. Like,
I was like, boyfriend held out pizza and he was kicking and shoving and like stabbing the one guy, and I'm like, finally the pizza goes like just before he gets the guy, and I'm like, he held on that pizza for a long ass time.
That means that they've been starved of pizza for way too long.
I'm like, Dean and that freaking pizza. It's all about saving the pizza. Forget about saving things, hunting things, the family business. Saving people, hunting things, the family business.
Saving the food. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, saving food. Hunting things, the family business.
You seen the change? It's all about the food.
Yep, it's all about. See, that's why I'm saying something was up with Sam with that burger, because Dean, regardless with that Mark of Cain, he was in stealth mode because he got mad. He held that friggin' pizza.
That was an epic fight scene, and Dean was kicking some major butt. I mean, it was like just while he's holding the pizza, it's like holding his hand behind his back and fighting with one arm.
I know. I hate to say it. It's like part of me when he does that stuff with the Mark of Cain. I'm like, I don't want the Mark of Cain off of him. It's kind of sexy, Jensen. Jensen, as I say, he's just sexy, period. Don't get me started. We'll have our shallow moments in a little bit. But with those two, all I'm going to say is Tough Mudder. Did you see those pictures?
Yes.
I've actually been thinking about doing Tough Mudder.
They did Tough Mudder, and there are now pictures of them doing the course.
I was actually thinking about training to do that.
I was too. That's on my bucket list. I would love to do that. I don't know after seeing those guys do it though. I'm like,
I've been through the police academy. That was enough for me. So I'm done with that kind of stuff. But it looked kind of cool though.
It did look cool. I'm like, I've always wanted to do that. They have it in New York. I was talking to Stephanie, who was on last week, and she's like, yeah, we should do it. I said, seriously.
I would love to do something like that too.
Yeah, if there's another thing next year, maybe that's what we should do. I wouldn't mind it.
If y'all get awesome together, I might join you. I don't know.
Yeah, if we do it, you know what? Maybe, you know what, you guys, if we get a team for Tough Mudder, you know what? Maybe we should do it. We might as well put this on the air so people will adhere to it. Like, I'm in.
As long as
I'm in for gift wishes next year too. And I'm in for a con next year. I just have to figure out which con I'm going to go to, but I'm going to a Supernatural con next year.
Speaking of that, since you guys know more than me, if I would go to a con, what would be I'm moving down to Louisiana, so like what would be a comparable, would there be like a southern con that I could go to?
I don't know.
Jacksonville.
Well,
yeah, Jacksonville. They're having one in Jacksonville. Isn't there one this year I heard too in Nashville? Are they having one in Nashville this year too?
Yeah.
Not this year, next year.
Oh, next year.
Which I am so upset about because I went to the second NashCon and it was the last. It was the last, and it was awesome. The facility was awesome. And can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I see Tori's got issues with technical issues.
Yeah,
and
my thing won't stay in the same spot.
But anyway, no, NashCon was awesome, and I'm upset that they're bringing it back again because NashCon was just fun. The facility, everything, it was awesome. I would go there, Tori. Try for that, but it's going to be in
February.
February?
I think it's February. It's after Jacksonville.
Okay, just like the last time. The last time it was there was in February.
Well, I know I'm going to Atlanta for the Walker Stalker Con for The Walking Dead in October, so I'll try to do that then.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I already have my tickets.
I know. I think that's really cool. That's really cool. I just have to figure out. I was telling my family, I'm like, I think I'm gonna do a con, and they're like, no, Michelle, you should finally do one. I said, I'll do one next year. I said, I just don't know which one now.
Come to DC and Jacksonville, and we could be roomies.
I may do that next year. I may do that, but I'm definitely doing Gish Wishes. And if we do Tough Mudder, yeah, I'll do Tough Mudder.
Heck yeah! It's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
It's like 10 miles. I run 5 miles a day now. I can work my way up to 10.
Yeah, but it looked like they had obstacles too.
There were obstacle courses.
Yeah, because like at the police academy, we had to climb 12-foot walls, and I was terrified.
there were. Did you see Jared on the rings? I was like,
I can't do that.
Yeah, he was doing the rings. Well, they all did it. They all passed. And I can't wait to see Ostrich's video. And I guess Jensen had one, I guess, too, but somebody said he gave it to Jared. But I'm like, I didn't see Jared with any video on. But Ostrich had one on, and apparently Jensen did also. So I'm like, we're waiting patiently. I don't care if you're at Asylum. I don't care if you're in Europe. Where's that effing video?
Jen, are you a cop now?
No, I'm actually a private musician. I teach saxophone, flute, and piano now, but I used to be a police officer, and I ended up quitting because it just wasn't. I did it for a couple years, and I just decided it wasn't for me. And then 9/11 happened, and everything got crazy. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I ended up quitting, and then going back to school for music. So. But yeah, I've done like the obstacle course we had we actually built our police academy's obstacle course, and it was, and then we had to run it. They're like, oh, not only does your class get to build it, you guys get to run it too, and I'm like, oh.
Really?
So yeah, that was fun. But
one of the worst things is whenever I was training and they made us do all of our training for 2 hours in the mud. That really sucks. Like, you had to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 jumping jacks as like a warm-up. That was not even the training in the mud, and it was like completely, you were like knee-deep. That sucks. That was like worse than kicking oak trees, I'll tell you that.
Are you a cop? Are you a police officer?
Oh, no. I'm a black belt, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and I do I did competitive Thai fighting for 10 years. So yeah, that was pretty horrible.
That's why anytime there's a fight scene, I'm like, Tory, break it down.
Yeah, she knows because we did a whole episode on martial arts.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. It was cool.
It was a fun one.
Yeah, we did one on the Indy Geek about a couple weeks ago on martial arts. It was really cool.
We were actually in one of our PT classes for the police academy when 9/11 happened, and then they put us on lockdown and everything. But like, that was interesting because we were doing the running, the push-ups, and all that she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty cool, Tori. That's awesome.
That is cool. That's really cool. That's really cool.
I'm very glad that I don't have to do that anymore.
That is until we do Tough Mudder.
She don't want to
be like, God damn it, I went back 10 years.
Like, now this is on air. Now we have to do it.
We could make it 10 times harder, and I could get out the pepper spray, and we could spray ourselves first and then do it. That'd be fun.
So, thank you. Not.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
And I'd be like, But, speaking of action scenes, Dean catches Eldon. They bring him back. They tie him up. They chain him in the bunker. They talk to Eldon about what, what's he doing and blah, 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 blah. And again, David Hoffman, this entire monologue, as he begins to explain where his family is derived from, was amazing. And then what happens? Sam gets another freaking phone call from Cass. But it was great, him explaining about the Frankenstein family, Mary Shelley, and mainly how they had to hide, the last name Franken, the whole term Franken, because Mary Shelley wrote that book. It was so awesome. And what their harvest was, and explained almost everything. And I got kudos to David Hoffman, because that was like that. The way he delivered that was so spot on, and I got chills from it. But I'm like, you know what? This is perfect for the supernatural lore. And just when you kill off one, he said there are thousands. So we're going to be seeing. I have no doubt we're going to be seeing the Stein family next year. This is just the beginning of the Stein family, I think.
Maybe they're going to be like the big bad next year.
I think they are. And it looks like from that next preview of the next episode, yep. I think this is the catalyst of them becoming literally the big bad, because it looks like if those previews served correctly, and those photos proved correctly, they were very spoilery photos. I'm like, really? They're totally showing off everything. This is like, I don't know. This could be the catalyst of something really bad.
I'm thinking also that if the Stein family is back next season, and they will be, the next big bad to deal with, and if Crowley's still alive, I think Crowley's going to have a problem with them.
Oh, he will have a problem with them. And I can see Crowley teaming with the Winchesters.
Oh, yes.
That would be awesome, and I really hope he is alive, so... Anyway.
Right. I hope he doesn't. Fingers crossed on that. I love Mark Shepard so much. But they find out, Sam gets another phone call. Cass is like, help me out here. The girls are fighting. Charlie wants to leave. Let me take Charlie somewhere. Da-da-da-da-da. Because Charlie was telling him before she can't take Rowena. Rowena's getting on her last nerve. And basically, so Cass calls Sam, and Sam's like, no, it's too dangerous. You can't bring Charlie in where there are men hunting her. She has to stay there. And Cass is like, well, what if I go with her? No, you have to keep her there. He's like, can I put her in another room? He's like, do whatever, Cass, but don't let her leave the bunker. Whatever you do. End of the conversation. Meanwhile, Dean gets another revelation, and this is when all hell breaks loose. Eldon tells him, in a nutshell, because Dean thinks the Book of the Damned is burned. He's like, we burned the book. Eldon's like, book is blessed with a curse. Book has a curse on it. It cannot be destroyed. You cannot burn it. You cannot tear it. You cannot do anything to this book. So you can see the wheels turning in Dean's head. He's like, okay, then what the hell, if the book can't be destroyed, I'm going to literally swear, what the fuck did Sam do with that book? What was that he burned in that cabinet? Meanwhile, Sam comes, meanwhile, they come out, and you can see, literally, this was so eerie up until this point, because, and this is kudos to Jensen Ackles, man. This whole season with Jensen Ackles has been amazing. I mean, both him and Jared, but in particularly Jensen for this whole Mark of Cain stuff. He literally, he was so stoic, and it was like watching a watch pot boil, and he was just very calculating. And normally Dean just goes off. He's literally just balls to the wall. He's in your face. When he gets mad, he'll just automatically just blow up. He did not this time. He was just like asking Sam questions, and Sam's kind of being sly, and then he says to Sam, what did you burn? And then if that was in the book, what did you burn? All of a sudden, Sam gets another phone call from Castiel, and he's like, if you pick up that effing phone one more time, Sam's like, I have to get this. It's important.
This is why Supernatural needs to be on HBO so they can say that kind
I know. Or, I think seriously they should put it on Netflix or Showtime, to be honest.
Not Showtime.
I would think, but I think Netflix, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already doing decent Netflix numbers. I mean, I say put it on Netflix.
If we were ever canceled, Netflix would pick it up, though. Like, if, for some reason next year they decided they didn't want to have it going on CW anymore, Netflix would pick it up easily.
I'm beginning to wonder after this episode how many people will stop watching. But, I think people are mad, and I think they're going to come back and watch it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I hope they do, because it will only hurt the show if they don't,
I know, you're not, I mean, you're hurting, people, you're hurting people's jobs, you're hurting people's lives. It's a TV show.
Yeah, and if they don't watch it and then find out Charlie comes back or something later, and then they're like, oh, we'll watch it now, and then the ratings are already low, it's
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
And we don't know the rumor is they want to do Supernatural movies. But you know what? If they don't have the ground support and all these people are complaining and everything, and we get where you're coming from, but at the same time,
we might not get the movies.
We may not get the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, if there's no movies, if there's no fan support, no cons, no this, no that. There's a whole domino effect with this. So that's what I'm saying. It's very important. So, and the guys say that they'll do this show for as long as they're able to and as long as they're getting good stories told. So as long as they can keep helping people with their new charity too, for the most part. So pretty much Stan picks up the phone. Cass says Charlie is gone. And all of a sudden, all bets are off. Dean goes ballistic. And he's like, he said, you told Sam, he goes, you made Charlie lie. He said, you made Cass lie. And he's like, and he goes, and now Charlie has disappeared and she has the Book of the Damned. He was livid. And this is even worse than we've ever seen Dean. Now, do you think that's because his demonist stuff is coming out? Yes, that's exactly what. This is Mark of Cain. I mean, Dean's gotten mad at him before, but not. This was very quiet, very. This is just a much different anger this time out. And the girls, and Jennifer and Toni will say this too. This is a very different anger. And I get it, but at the same time, both brothers over the years, they do it all the time. They lie to one another. They need to stop. Because every time they do it, somebody dies, to be honest.
Well, unfortunately, it is like what Tory said. It's part of the seven deadly sins. I mean,
it is.
So he's experiencing wrath.
Yeah, he's experiencing wrath, and that's exactly right. And he's livid, he's angry, and Charlie calls because she tells them where she is, and she's being the Stein brother. Well, the Steins have found her now, and they're telling her, give him the book, give her whatever, and she's like, I just can't do it. And what she does is she did figure out the code. Just before they discovered her, she figured out the code, and she uploads it, and she sends it to Sam. I think she sent it to Sam. We didn't find out who she sent it to. I figured she sent it to Sam, just like Kevin had done. She sent it to Sam. So And she destroys her tablet before they come. And she didn't go out, you want everybody to think about something, because I went back and really looked at it. It wasn't just some flower going out. Girlfriend had a freaking knife. She fought for her life until those boys came.
There was something I was going to say about that. She went down fighting.
Yeah, she did. Did you see her with the knife in her hand? She was ready. She was fighting.
Total Dean. I love the Dean influences on her and on Cass.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and on Crowley too, I have to say.
I was going to say Crowley. Crowley too. Yeah, Dean has influenced half of that, Charlie, Cass, Crowley. The only one is Sam. But Sam did explain. I love, and he's influenced Sam, because Sam, I think, finally gets it. And even though you may not have liked what Sam did, I love what Sam said, and it was so poignant. And he said, Sam said, Dean, we did it because we love you. We all love you. Cass loves you. Charlie loves you. You would not have done this unless you wouldn't have taken our help, because I didn't have a choice. I totally get where he's coming from, because he's right. Dean does not accept help. And I get where Sam is coming from. And I'm like, I'm like, you know what? I get it, Sam. It's all good. But the boys get there, and she's gone. That was the most grisly scene I ever saw in a Supernatural for our main character. I mean, you can say Bobby's death was bad. It was, but it was actually a beautiful ending. Bobby's, last episodes. And we got Bobby in heaven jail right now, I think. I don't know where they would put him, but for him,
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. So we may see, it would not surprise me if we saw Charlie back next year in terms of springing Bobby from wherever he is.
That would be awesome.
That would be epic. And because Charlie has never met Bobby.
No, she hasn't.
Bobby.
She hasn't.
She hasn't met, and and there's an article too, and that was, pretty much the end of Supernatural. And I will say with this, kudos to both Jensen and Jared for that final scene. The look on Sam's face, he looked repulsed with what he saw. He was disgusting. And I will say, Ryan Curtis,
he looked like he was ready to puke. You could hear that.
Yeah. And I will say this, kudos to Ryan Curtis for when Eldon escaped from that bunker.
Yeah.
I thought you guys,
Oh, that was gruesome, but go ahead.
That arm, he tore his arm off.
Yeah, that was.
And the arm, that was so nasty. And apparently, if you guys don't follow Ryan on Twitter, I forget what his handle is. I think it's Ryan_VFX. But that was amazing. I was like, that is so nasty. Like, ew, he tore his arm off. And somebody, I don't know who did this, but somebody posted like a gift. And they said, you know what, everybody, this is a shallow moment, but notice Sam's hair when they come running around, when they realize that it's gone, when they realize that he's gone. And I'm like, oh, there goes the pad of hair. It's like, you see it, and it's like flowing. And it literally like stops perfectly. And I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, leave it to a Supernatural fan to make it. And literally, it did. I'm like, oh my God. Like, y'all are crazy. But that was the end of that episode, pretty much, of Dark Dynasty. And I know we kind of went off the deep end a little bit, but there's a lot to go over. And we're trying to make it as humorous as possible because we all enjoyed Charlie so much, and
yes,
and we love Felicia Day's portrayal. It's not,
I love Felicia Day.
Oh, I love Felicia Day.
Loved her character as Charlie. I still have to check out the other stuff that she was on before, and I would like to talk about that maybe, when we have our summer program.
Yeah, she has a book coming out, you guys, too. This
summer. I have to say that I saw that. I want to get it.
Yeah. And it's available for pre-order, so if you guys probably do a search, I forgot what the book is, and we'll talk about that over the summer because I think it's out in August. And a lot of the Supernatural people are doing really cool things this hiatus. And for example, Jason Fisher, who's on the crew, has a great web series entitled Demon X coming out. That's amazing. We heard Timothy Osman. Gallivant just was renewed for a second season. So, yay, Timothy! Jeffrey Dean Morgan expressed some interest, even though he's going to be in Extant. He's going to be in Halle Berry's Extant this summer. He's going to be in that this summer. I think he's a co-star, actually. But he said, too, he would not be opposed to be in an episode, if time permits, for Supernatural next year or whenever. Sam Smith said that also. I can see them bringing him for an episode back, maybe close to the end, or maybe helping out Bobby with Charlie. I would love to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan back in any capacity. I don't know why, people hate. I know people, for some reason, don't like his character. I saw a BuzzFeed survey where people were able to pick a sandwich they could pick a sandwich, or you can pick John Winchester. And people picked the sandwich over John Winchester.
Wow.
Nothing against, it wasn't against Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It was against the John Winchester character. And I was like, people, put yourself in John Winchester's shoes as a character. He lost his wife. He had to change his whole life. He was a hunter, and then he, got this normal life because Mary Winchester asked him to. And he lost his wife to a demon, and that forced him back into a life that he did, he promised his wife that he would not raise their children into. And he did the best that he could. I mean, he was on the road a lot. He did what they had to do,
Well, actually, he didn't really knew that, I'm not trying to, I don't know how to say this, but actually it was Mary's past life. Being a hunter, he didn't know. He didn't know about being a hunter until after what happened to her. She was the hunter. John didn't know.
He didn't know, but his father was a man of letters.
But he didn't know that either. John was just a baby, like a kid.
Right. But I would think that, his grandfather knew, and...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I get what you're saying, but I'm just wondering if he found out later. See, that's another...
Oh, yeah, that he could have found out later, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I think he found out later.
Probably, yeah.
So, and it's only, I don't know, I wouldn't mind seeing him back. And like we said, too, the guys did Tough Mudder.
I would love to see him back, but hey, you know what? If Cass can get his full powers back, however they can get rid of Metatron and fix things, he has the power to pull the dead back.
He can. They both have the power to do. Angels have the power to do that. I was looking at an episode a couple nights ago. Sebastian Roche. Remember when he saved the Titanic?
Oh, that's one of my favorite episodes.
Me too.
I know.
He saved the Titanic. He's like Cass and Dean is like, no, you cannot save 50,000 people because I did something nice for once. I'm like, he really actually did something nice.
Yeah.
I guess somebody asked Jim Michaels,
All for the hate of the Celine Dion song.
I know, because he hated that Celine Dion song. And then somebody asked Jim Michaels if they would bring Sebastian Roche back, and he goes, yeah, if Sebastian has time free, he was always a fan of his. So yeah, he goes, if time permits and Sebastian has time, he goes, I guess it's up to Sebastian if he has time or not. So
I mean, yeah, because they got Gabriel back.
Yep. Yep. I don't think we'll see Rob Benedict back until the very end.
Yes, and Rob was back even though it was a tail end, but that was epic. Gabriel was epic. I can't wait to see if Sebastian does come back as Balthazar. I want to see. It's got to be epic. It's got to be humorous, but powerful still.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say too, and if the rumors are true because people saw him on the set. I don't know if these are files or if these are things. Death.
Oh yeah.
I will say this. I do like. There's a couple of scenes that I like with Death. I forget what his real name is. Guy is really. I've seen him. Kinte's actually from Tory. Kinte's interviewed him actually.
Yeah, he told me that.
Yeah, he's interviewed just about all of the supernatural people. But he had a really good talk with the guy who plays Death, and he seems really like a nice dude.
Mm-hmm.
Julian Richings.
Yes, yeah. And there were two scenes that come to mind. I loved when they were with the Rings of the Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. I loved all of his Julian's scenes with Jensen. Those were great scenes.
I thought the scene where they were trying to kill God, which was Cass. Remember, they had to go into the house with Bobby.
Yes.
Doctor's house.
Yep.
That was totally epic. I mean, Death was pissed, but he took advantage of it, but he got his fried pickles.
Yeah, I love it. Death loves junk food. I love it.
I wish
fried pickles are amazing. Have you guys ever eaten them?
I have.
They're delicious.
They are delicious.
I've never had them. I want to try them.
Good.
You have to.
Toni, there's a place in Winter Park that has them. We could go there.
Oh, don't tell me that. We're just going to have to go.
Yeah. It's that New Orleans place in Winter Park. They have fried pickles.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know the BW3s, Buffalo Wild Wings has them too.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know if we have them here in upstate New York.
You should.
I think there was some in Pittsburgh. I never had a chance, but I think there was a few in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Anybody know if there's any fried pickle places or any places where I can get good fried pickles in upstate New York?
Yes, Julie Richings.
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, actually.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, that's where I was born and raised. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, which part?
Cannonsburg. Southwest.
Cannonsburg. Okay, I know people out there. I was in. I was more. How can I say this? Well, you were more towards the west. I was more near central, like of downtown. I was minutes away from downtown Pittsburgh. I was near the east, so I was like, you've heard of Kennywood?
Of course, I've heard of Kennywood.
I lived 15 minutes away from Kennywood.
That was the best park ever. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. Have you been on the laser loop when you were a kid?
Oh heck yeah.
Oh, that thing was so freaking scary. I was on it twice, and I said never again. I was on it when they had problems with it. Remember when it used to get
Yes.
up? Yeah, I was one of the victims of it getting.
Oh my god.
Wait, what is it? Do I even want to know? What kind of ride is it?
It almost looks like a cursive writing, like you're trying to make like an eye, but the part is open.
Yeah.
So it looks like this.
Oh my
And
god.
then you go backwards.
Like round. It's kind of round, and it goes like that. And you get on the ride. When you get on the ride, it's like near before you get up towards the middle of the circle. So then it goes really fast. It's supposed to go really fast on the top circle, and then it slows down so it can hit the tip of the one end, and then it goes down really fast backwards this way, and it goes slowly back up, and then it does it again. I think it was like, what, 4 or 5 times it does that in one?
Holy crap.
Yeah,
it was scary. It was the worst.
Well, what was scary was getting stuck up there for 2 minutes. It was awful. I was freaking out.
I would have been too. That was like my worst nightmare as a kid. It took me a long time to get over that.
Oh my god!
I thought the jackrabbit was fun.
I've never done it.
It's funny.
Were you on the jackrabbit too? I mean, that was wicked, but
yeah, the Thunderbolt was the best though. Thunderbolt was
or
absolutely
was it the Thunderbolt? Wasn't the Thunderbolt? Which one was more powerful?
The Thunderbolt, you started off and then you immediately went down a hill.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was on the jackrabbit, and I think I was on the Thunderbolt, and said, "That's it. That was it."
I love roller coasters though, and I moved from Pittsburgh to Cleveland, and Cedar Point was like 45 minutes away from where we lived, so we would go to Cedar Point every summer, and that is the roller coaster capital of the United States. There's more roller coasters per square feet in that park than any other park in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, that was amazing.
There's
well, you know what? We're going to take a look at, I'm just going to pull it up here. I have a next week's clip that is entitled The Prisoner. Brace yourself, people.
I'm looking at promo pics right now. I just thought something popped up on my screen.
Brace yourself. Just going to pull it up here for a second. Let me see if I can screen save it.
Well, if you don't want spoilers, don't watch this.
No.
Charlie's dead. I'm going to overtake this. And I'm going to rip apart everything that you want me to do. Supernatural only this Wednesday at 9/8 Central on the CW.
Isn't that interesting?
Oh wait, does everybody else have like half a screen for that?
I had half a screen.
Did you?
Okay. Yeah.
Here, let me see if I can do it again.
So is where we really start to see getting even worse.
Rowena, it's been days.
Uh-oh.
You took a codex.
Oh wait, that was last week's or this
Yeah, it just took like a roll. That was weird how we got half a screen. Okay, hang on. Okay, let me.
Charlie's dead. I'm going to overtake this. And I'm going to rip apart.
Did it do it again?
Yeah, and the other way
Yeah,
though.
the other way. There we go.
There we go. It's in there.
Supernatural only this Wednesday at 9/8 Central on the CW.
Okay, sorry, that was my bad before.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That was The Prisoner. So, and gets kind of a little spoilery. So we see them, give Charlie a hunter's funeral, and all bets are off. Dean is in Mark of Cain mode. Now and I told this to Toni, but then I realized the gun we were looking at. I thought it was the Colt at first. First thought was like it was the Colt, but I guess somebody said he has a Colt of his own, so it's not the Colt. So, because I literally was like, Toni, is that the Colt? Stuck in it, but it's not the Colt. So I was gonna go around and do predictions. I don't know anymore about anything. I just think that we're in for the next 2 episodes are pretty crazy. It's to me it's like markup. It's Cain and Abel. It's literally Cain and Abel.
That worries me.
It worries me a great deal too. Was he pointing that gun at Crowley?
I don't know. That's what I'm scared about. Or
I mean, they're making it look like it was, but usually those clips aren't.
They're pretty deceiving, right?
Yeah.
It could have been a Stein family member too.
it looked like it was in the bunker, though.
Could it be Sam?
I don't know.
I was gonna say, could it be Sam?
Oh my heart. You know, and the only thing I would say, he was, you know, there is, I wonder, the only thing I do wonder, I wonder about Sam with the burger eating. Anytime he kind of does something, when he lies to Dean, he does it, I know he was doing it out of love and everything, but also, was it really too? But he gets almost to the point where he's like paranoid. That's shades of demon blood. Anytime when he does that, I notice that that's when we see shades of that coming back. I'm wondering if that's the mark, and I'm wondering if the Book of the Damned did not, maybe like we said earlier, could it have woken something in Sam? Maybe the answer isn't so much with Dean. Maybe the problem isn't so much Dean. Maybe the problem, you know, is with Sam.
Well, yeah. I mean, I agree. That Book of the Damned like attracts evil, or how? Remember what they said? Like it kind of intensifies anyone evil from that book. I mean, I'm sure it's opening up it's awakening the demon blood in Sam. I mean, he's been eating freaking burgers. That's not Sam.
No! I'm like,
that's not Sam.
It's not Sam. You know, Sam does not eat burgers. I mean, we've seen Sam work out, even as, you know, soulless Sam. Lucifer. He's not like that. Period. So this is something, I just think that this is something that we've never seen. You know, it would not surprise me. I will say, I love Jared Padalecki and Ruthie Connell in scenes together. They have amazing chemistry together. They really do. They play off each other very well. I really think something sinister is going to happen, and it's going to put the two of them on the same side.
I love the way it wasn't this week's episode, last week's episode. I loved it when he chained her up, and the way he looked and the way he said, "Please forgive me." I can't remember verbatim, but I think he said something like, "Well, if you want to hurry up, if you want to get out of there, get to work." But it was just the way it was so intense. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we've never seen Sam like that, and we've never seen him how he's treated. We've never seen him like, he didn't do this even with Ruby.
Yeah.
He didn't even do that with Ruby, and you know, he didn't even. We've never seen Sam do that. Period. And even, you know, maybe because he's older, you know, I thought, well, maybe he's older, and maybe because he's been around the block now, you know, and that could be it too. But I think in this episode in particular too, when she's calling him Samuel and she's mocking him, and I love what she said too. Did you go to the grocery store? Can you go and pick up stuff at the grocery store for me? He stops dead. He looks at him and was like.
He was almost like, "Yes, Mom."
He was like, "Yes, Mom." I'm like, ah! I'm like, he's got to go and get her. He's got to go and get her stuff for her spells.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, and I can't remember verbatim, but the look on Rowena's face when Cass walked in the door.
Oh my God, that was great.
What did she say? Oh.
Well, she wondered what he was, because she couldn't figure out what he was. She didn't know he was an angel.
Yeah,
I don't think she's ever encountered an angel before.
She was just like, And
then he went into pork rinds.
I know.
He only cared about pork rinds. He had a taste for his pork rinds.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that for my photo op. Bring pork rinds.
Pork rinds. Pork rinds, and somebody bring a pizza box.
Yeah.
Pork rinds are good.
It's going to be a rusty elbow. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just said pork rinds are good. I don't care what any of you say.
They are good. I don't mind them.
No, I used to eat them. I don't know, maybe I ate too much of them one time and I got sick on them, but I did like them. They are pretty good.
They're good.
I've never had them.
Oh, you need to eat
They're
them.
good.
Sorry, I know my family, like, I don't know, we eat a lot of like organics and stuff, so I just
And
never.
I do. I do. We do too, Jennifer. I'm like Sam. Lots of salads and everything, and chicken breasts and brown rice and all that other stuff. But then I don't mind a burger every now and then. And it's great when you hear like Jensen and Jared actually talk about what they actually like to eat. And it's funny because it's like the reverse. It's like Jared eats everything, and I guess Jensen is the one that is like the Mr. Organic. He's like, I'm Mr. Organic. He goes, this one eats everything. and Jared's like, yep.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm gonna make a pizza after all this pizza talk.
I had pizza
Got
for
one in
dinner.
my freezer.
I had pizza for dinner, and I didn't even know we were talking about it tonight.
Well, that's it for us tonight. We do, if you guys are watching this on the Indy Geek website, we are working now with Instigator. So we have some really cool, this is one of the first of a few things that we're doing. And we have quizzes. We have all kinds of things that we're going to be doing and stuff. And we are still, you know what, everybody, we still have that contest that we're doing too. So for the Always Keep Fighting shirts. And so where can we we were going to start with Tory Rush. Where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at RushTory, and that's Tory. You can find me on my website, www.infectiouswalkingdead.com. You can also find me on Instagram and _theinfectious, and my Facebook group. That's facebook.com/theinfectiouswalkingdead.
All right. And Toni Colangelo, where can they find you?
On social media, you can find me on Twitter at drummergirl71, and I'm also on Instagram, but I apologize. I'm looking up. I think it's also drummergirl71. I haven't been on it for a long time. I apologize.
Am I on
I'll
here?
get back to you. Continue with the...
Okay. And Jennifer, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter as PrudeSax08. I think that's is that in my little hashtag?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my Twitter, and then and then Jennifer SPN fan, like my name says, on Facebook. You can find me there. And I do have Instagram, actually. It's PrudeSax09. So instead of the 08, it's the 09. So that's me. Be prepared for a lot of Disney photos, though. Not going to lie.
They're awesome. They're awesome pictures.
Thank you.
Nice. And you guys can find me. I'm at Bed of Roses 2001. You can find me on, that's my personal Twitter account. And you can find me on the Indie Geeks Twitter account, which is the Indie Geek. You can find me on Facebook, which is Michele Villery. And then also I have an author page, which is Ty Langston. And also I'm on Instagram too. I'm at ShellyB456. Okay? So on behalf of everyone at Indie Radio, at the Indie Geek, We will be back bright and early tomorrow morning. We are going to be going over This Is Your Sword at 10 a.m. So everyone have a wonderful night. Oh, Toni, you have something else to say?
Yes, Instagram, TonyGirl71. You can find me on there.
All right.
And in honor of Charlie, I know this is corny, got my bright flannel on. Peace out, bitches.
Peace out, bitches.
Bye, guys.
Good night. See you tomorrow morning.